So I spent the last probably 20 minutes trying to sort out the screws, and I took a fly fishing kit that was separated. I don't know if you can see this, but I got the 5 different numbers of screws separated. The count of the screws is still a little off, and I think that's so far one of my biggest gripes. I haven't even started building the kit yet, and it's really hard to differentiate the screws, and just counting them up, I'm off by a couple screws per the instructions. So we'll see how this build goes. Alright, so a little tip. I haven't really gotten very far. These axles, the axles weren't going into the gear completely, so you can't seat it. These aren't brass. I'm not sure what they're made out of, but it was like going in, just like getting stuck like that, and it seemed like the machine was just like, you know, a hair off. So reached out to the WPL group on Facebook and asked. I was gonna drill it out, but I knew it was just a hair, and somebody suggested filing it. So luckily I had a set of files I got from Harbor Freight and picked these up for fairly, dirt cheap. I forgot how much they were, but there's one in there that's a round file, completely round, and it fits perfectly in there. So I just, spun it around in the file a little bit for both of them, and I was able to, now the ring gear goes over the shaft where it needs to sit perfectly. So in my opinion, that's the best way to do it. Don't take a drill. You don't want that gap, you don't want to expand that hole in the ring gear too much, because you're going to run a grub screw in there to seat it properly, and it's gonna take a lot, take some torque. So you don't want it to spin on the shaft. You want that grub screw to hold it onto the shaft well. So just a hair. So I just want to show you what I did with electronics and where I put them. So I got my 30 amp ESC right here, double-sided tape straight onto the servo. I got the switch coming off of it going into the on and off switch, which the switch little tab is not necessarily long enough. I guess you can get at it. It's kind of hard. Just needs to be like a millimeter or two longer, so you can get it with your finger easily. So that's just screwed down in there. Let me get that in there. There's some screw holes right there. Then I routed the servo wire, ESC battery wire, the whole bit through here. I cut a little groove right there out of the plastic with my snips, just to recess the wires down, and then put some hot glue over there, so when I put the electronics cover on it, it's like flush. And then I got just a 6-channel receiver right here. It is a radial link, so it's just a standard receiver you use in the tent scale. Got everything hooked up, and I have a Ovonix 1000 milliamp 2-cell in there, 2S battery. It fits perfectly. Looks like you can't get anything bigger in there, maybe taller, like a 3-cell. If you have an ESC that will actually run that. But it looks like everything's tucked in there nice and neat. So now I'm going to button it up and get all the cosmetics bits on, but I think the truck is almost done. So the rear axle, I found out had to be shimmed, and it came with paper shims, which are probably about 1/2 millimeter thick. Probably enough for 4 per axle. I think so, about 8 to 10. I forgot how many there are. I put them on, played with that, still wasn't working, and did some research on Facebook, and it seemed like some other people were having issues with the silver gears, which are, I'm assuming, like steel. They're not the brass gears. And what I also did was found on Thingiverse, somebody created a shim. So what I did was I took it and printed it in TPU, and printed out multiple models of it. So I printed out 1/2 millimeter, 1 meter thick, 1.5 millimeters, and 2 millimeters thick. So right now what you're looking at is 2.5 millimeter thick shim, gasket, whatever you want to call it, for the input shaft. And then also there's a 3 millimeter washer, shim, whatever you want to call it, on the input shaft on the inside underneath the bearing. And then there's another one on the axle up against the ring gear, like that. So it does, there's no, I took out the slop on some of the play, even though it's nice and tight with the grub screw, there was just a little bit of play. So I did that, and then I greased it really well, and I got it working. I put it in, saw some people putting in the, once I got it, smooth, chucked it up in my drill and spun it forward and backwards to just try to maybe do a little break-in. So I'm happy with that. So I'm anxious to see, once I get everything, the front one done and running smoothly, and have it back installed on the truck. So I gave up on meshing the gears because I still couldn't get them to work. The metal ones came with the metal upgrade kit, so I put on the stock plastic ones, kept the metal steering link from the servo, and everything seems to go, run smoothly. But now I'm running into the front tires go forward and the back tires go backwards as I squeeze the throttle forward. I don't know what's going on. This will be fun. I might add some weight up front, but I'm worried about adding stress to the plastic parts until I can get the metal parts working properly, if I can at all. My impressions on it, I like it. I like the detail of the body. The kit went together fairly well, and my only issue was the screws, and YouTube helped a lot building it. Lots of tutorials out there building it, step by step, every part, and good tips and stuff on issues people ran into in the past. Same with the Facebook groups. They've helped me out a lot on any questions I had. Like, for instance, with the previous video I had where the back tires were spinning opposite of the front, I just went on Facebook, asked, and they're like, yeah, you gotta just flip your rear axle, and that's what I did, and got it fixed and up and running. So yeah, I'm kind of bummed the metal upgrades I got aren't working right now, so hopefully get them working. I might buy some new gears, some brass gears maybe, in the future, and see if I can get the up and running. I think for this truck, definitely, these are good tires. I might do some RC four-wheel drive tires on it, maybe. But I think the better ESC in it, because I'm running one of those like cheapo 30 amp ESCs. Something that has better modulation and a drag brake would be very helpful. And then depending on what I can like smash in there, I really like having the full interior, but taking that out will give me more space for electronics, new AC, whatever. And having the battery in the back is really nice, trying to hide it. I think the geometry of the frame works out pretty good. It'd be really nice to see, all this kind of stuff hanging down here, the transmission, and then these link mounts be flush, as best as possible. It's just like a 10th scale crawler. And then I think trying to lower the center of gravity and add some weight down low would help it out a lot. Probably going to see if I can angle the back shocks, maybe put some grease in them, maybe do a pin spring, add some droop or something to see if I can get this sitting down lower, kind of add some of that 10th scale crawler ingenuity to make this better. But yeah, I like it overall. I think I like how the front bumper is, for the most part, pretty flush to the body. It doesn't stick out that far, so your approach angle and it's, let's see if we can get that on camera, it's it's kind of beveled, so you just gotta steer with my tires. Can't get up things depending on the side, shape of the rocks. And also another gripe with the body, I really don't like the gap, but I mean, it's all about like molds and machining, and I get that, but yeah, just have to deal with that. I think maybe a 370 metal transmission case with a 370 motor, and or a small brushless motor, like low kV, like 1400 maybe, and a really nice ESC. This thing would be really good, especially with all the metal upgrades that if I had them installed, that'd be helpful. And some weight. I think this would be a really good crawler, but hopefully I'll get this out on the rocks soon and get some running video. So thanks for watching.